guys are going to become very acquainted with this flag over the next 7 hours. Hey, howdy, hey, y'all. Allison here. Today is a very special day indeed. I'm going to be live streaming for 7 hours straight, and I plan on only talking about Kurosawa films. Why, you may ask? First off, I want to push myself to the limits. People often say I can go. Once I start going, there's no stopping me. I want to test that. And also, for my research writing class, at the beginning of the semester, we have to pick a topic that we will be researching across the entire semester. And I chose my favorite film director, Akira Kurosawa. And for the final project, we have to do this immersive project. This is it. I said to my class, I said, hey, so what if I just do a live stream for 7 hours straight where I just talk about my research topic? Now, let's lay out some ground rules here, okay? I'm going to be going for 7 hours straight talking about my research topic, Akira Kurosawa, and his films, of course. I'm gonna be able to go get water, I can go to the bathroom, but during those times, I'm gonna have to grab someone else to come down here to talk to you guys because I don't want this to stop. This Kurosawa train has left the station, my dudes. Once per hour, I will be allowed to talk about something else for 5 minutes. I'm really excited to that. I'm really excited about that because I have a lot of thoughts about VeggieTales that have been circulating in my brain, and I really want to talk about VeggieTales. I purposefully avoided sleeping. That way I would be as delirious as possible because I really do want you guys to be able to watch me go insane. I think there's something really entertaining about that because I realize that a lot of you guys don't have much interest in Kurosawa. Don't you worry, my friends. You will. You will. But I think you guys are more interested in seeing me go insane than seeing me talk about Akira Kurosawa. And I will be keeping track on the live stream, on the live chat, because I really do think that will help me get through these trying times, being able to have other people and not being truly alone. I originally planned on having this "What are we doing? What are we talking about" thing hanging up. The plan was I would have a little piece of paper that would update with what we're talking about so that people who come and go will be able to see what are we talking about? Because I don't want people to just walk in here and be like, what is she doing? What is going on? What are we talking about? So then they can just look at the little piece of paper that I will be regularly updating that says what we're talking about. I know, it's a genius idea. I didn't sleep last night because I was thinking about these things, but it won't stick. And I would have to move this whole curtain back, and dude, that's work. It's all good. It'll be a hoot, as I always say. Okay. Not something I always say. I just started saying that today, but for some reason, I'm just feeling like an owl, I guess. Hoot, 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 my dudes. That's a really good catchphrase. I should put that on a shirt. Anyways, speaking of shirts, this shirt has Akira Kurosawa on it, and it has a quote from him, and it says, "Unless you know every aspect and phase of the film production process, you can't be a movie director. A movie director is like a frontline commanding officer. He needs to have a knowledge of every branch and of the..." I don't know what the next word is. It's kind of, my shirt is very faded at this point. I don't know this is the next word. So it's he needs to have a thorough knowledge of every branch of the something. And if he doesn't command each division, he cannot command the whole. Ooh, that reminds me. While I'm messing up my hair right now, another thing I wanted to do to keep things interesting is every hour I will switch into a new wig. That way, it's just, I don't know, just to make things interesting. It was just an idea that I had. Sue me. So Akira Kurosawa, he's my favorite director, and I really do agree with that quote about how in order to be a film director, you have to know every aspect of the film process. That's part of the reason why I wanted to become a director. I love the whole process. I love planning, I love writing, I love filming, I love editing. I really do just love it all. The director is the primary creative source. And Kurosawa definitely had a very distinct creative vision. He was born in 1910 in Japan. He started making films during World War II, which is an unfortunate time to be making films. If you wanted to get into the film industry, you're pretty much forced to make propaganda films. And Kurosawa, he did not support the war. He knew that it was problematic AF. Sorry, these lights are like in my eyes and I don't want to go blind. He knew that it was an unjust war, it was an unfair war, it was an evil war, and he hated the idea that he had to make films supporting it. But the thing is, he was like, I want to make films, this is my passion, I love filmmaking. So, I mean, like, isn't that a horrible predicament to be in, you know? You want to create art, but the only way you can create art is by making this propaganda stuff that you don't even believe in. It's not like today where like you have an iPhone, you have whatever, you know, access to making videos is so easy these days. But back then, if you wanted to make a film, you needed to be working with a film company, you know, a production company. You know, that's like if you wanted to be a painter, but the only way you could paint is by making propaganda paintings. This is basically like a lecture. Welcome to Zoom class with Allison and Akira Kurosawa. May I take your order? Anyways, so eventually the war ends and Kurosawa is like, yay, I can finally make what I want to make. Just kidding, not really, because the American occupation swoops in. And one of the things that they did was there was some big time censorship going on. Because the thing is, these propaganda films were encouraging war, were encouraging doing what's best for the nation, sacrificing yourself, especially in the Jidaigeki. Jidaigeki are Japanese period pieces, otherwise known as, you know, they're samurai movies. And in these samurai movies, they'd often depict, you know, samurai just like sacrificing themselves and dying for a greater cause because they wanted to encourage people to do that in the war. So anyways, when the American occupation rolls in, first off, we're gonna ban sword fighting films. So no fighting allowed in your movies, which is total BS. They put a ban on the biggest genre there. They banned sword fighting films and any films with, and I quote, feudal themes, which is incredibly vague. So that put an even bigger damper on people's creativity and ability to make films. And like this ban, you wanna know how long it lasted? 7 years. So poor Kurosawa, he starts his career during the war. He has to make all these propaganda movies. And then the war ends and he's like, yay, I can finally do what I want. Just kidding, occupation rolls in and now he can't make any movies with, quote, sword fighting or feudal themes. So it's like, and Kurosawa wasn't the only person feeling this way. People were getting frustrated. It was a very creatively stifling time. And then, and then, after 7 years, the ban is lifted. After 7 years, hallelujah. And so that's when Kurosawa begins making his magnum opus, Seven Samurai. My personal favorite film of all time. This 3.5-hour epic. And that's why this live stream is 7 hours. It's 7 hours for Seven Samurai. Makes a lot of sense, I know. I got makeup on my shirt, I just noticed that. I'm sorry. My head is already starting to hurt. I think it's from sleep deprivation combined with talking, but it's only been a half hour. Maybe it would have been better if I actually had gotten a good night's sleep tonight. But honestly, I thought I would be better at talking with less sleep. When I'm more awake, I become more self-conscious and anxious and conscious of my words. But when I'm tired, my inhibitions are down, I just kind of start going off. I talk in a stream of consciousness. Seven Samurai is one of the most prolific films ever. It's a lot like a Shakespearean play. Somebody will read a Shakespearean play, you know, and they'll take inspiration from it. And then they will proceed to make their own works that were inspired by it. And then somebody will see that work, and then it'll inspire more works. And it's a cycle, it's a circle that never ends. So many people, they're like, oh, this is Kurosawa, he can't be that important. I've never heard of him. But the thing is, he is the big inspiration for all of your favorite directors, you know? If, let's say, Tarantino is your god when it comes to filmmakers, well, Kurosawa is Tarantino's god. So here, let me just talk about Seven Samurai. So, you got this village of farmers, they're rice farmers. One day they're just like bopping around and one of them overhears these bandits stop on by the village and, you know, they're making these plans like, okay, we're gonna raid it, we're gonna kill everyone, and we're gonna take everything. And these villagers are like, and they're like, village elder, what do we do? And village elder says, hire an elite team of samurai. And they go around, they try to hire samurai, but they're having a really, really hard time. They're like, hey, would you please come and defend our village from this gang of bandits? There's 40 of them. In exchange, we'll give you food. We got rice. They stumble across this guy, Kanbei, and the farmers are like, hey, will you please defend our village? And he's like, no. But then they start crying. So then Kanbei's like, okay, fine. I'll defend your village from 40 bandits. And he's like, but we're not gonna need a team for this. We're gonna need to assemble the Avengers of Samurai in order to make this happen. Okay, so we got me, we got Comic Relief, we got my old war buddy, we got Jolly Guy, we got Kaiuzo, the Chad, and Katsushiro, the apprentice, is like, I would like to join too. And they're like, you're just a kid. And he's like, please. And they're like, fine. So now we got Katsushiro also on our squad. Kanbei's like, okay, we got 6 samurai. Time to head out. And we, the audience, are like, no, there's gonna be another. Guess who shows up? None other than Kikuchio, the homeless guy pretending to be a samurai. He shows up. He's drunk. Hey, you said I was no samurai, huh? I'll show you. He must have gone out and stolen a family tree from some random samurai family. Check this out. Knocked over camera. You see this family tree? It's a samurai family tree. This is my family tree. So this therefore proves that I am a samurai. That name right there, that's my name. And he just points to a random name because he's illiterate. Unfortunately, it turns out the name he pointed to was a girl's name, and the name listed, of course, the girl's name is Kikuchio, and that's the name that they call him for the rest of the film. We never learn what his real name is, and according to the date of birth listed, they're like, according to this, you're 12 years old, you're a girl named Kikuchio, and you're 12 years old, and he's like, yeah. And then in the morning, the 6 samurai, they head out to go back to the village, and Kikuchio just kind of follows them. So they arrive at the village, they start like setting up, making plans to defend, setting up traps. It's like Home Alone. But then they find out that these villagers have a bunch of samurai weapons. Weird. Now it turns out, back in the day, something that used to be done was when there was a battle with the samurai, they would go out there and they would find wounded samurai and kill them. When the samurai realize, oh shoot, these villagers, they've done that, they get big mad, and the samurai are like, huh, we came here to like defend them, but now I want to kill them. And Kikuchio, he goes off on what is, in my opinion, the best monologue in film history. I want to get some more water. Okay, so we're gonna go on a little adventure. You like my filming setup? We got all of my Danny DeVitos. Would you like to say anything to the people?
Hello, people.
So where were we? That's right. I was going to read the best monologue ever.
What do you think of farmers? You think they're saints? Huh, they're foxy beasts. They say, we've got no rice, we've got no wheat, we've got nothing. Oh, but they have. They have everything. Dig under the floors or search the barns, you'll find plenty. Beans, salt, rice, sake. Look in the valleys, they've got hidden warehouses. They pose as saints, but they're full of lies. If they smell a battle, they hunt the defeated. They're nothing but stingy, greedy, blubbering, foxy, and mean. God damn it all. But then who made them such beasts? You did. You samurai did. You burned their villages, destroy their farms, steal their food, force them to labor, take their women, and kill them if they resist. So what should farmers do, huh? What should they do?
And at that point, he just breaks down crying. Now, I realize at this point, we've been going for an hour, and that means it's time for a new wig. We get to take a break from talking about Kurosawa and talk about something else. I think there's so much hypocrisy when it comes to people talking about mental illness, because when they say, I support mental illness, what they really mean is they support people with the big sad. It's easy to feel bad for somebody who is sad, because really the only person they're hurting is themselves. But the thing is, not all mental illnesses manifest in sadness. Some of them manifest in anger, in bad behavior. If somebody is behaving poorly because of a mental illness and they're not doing anything about it, they're not getting treatment for it, then I think it's time to call them out and give them a reality check. But if they already are, they're already doing the best they can. You know, no need to just keep on putting them down. And the thing about these Karen meltdowns we see online is we don't know these people, so we don't know if they're getting treatment for it. We don't know if they're doing anything about it. It's time to return back to the topic. I want to see if I can find the intermission music because I'm just playing from the soundtrack. It's so pretty. It's like haunting and sad, but like beautiful. I think it's about to go into Kikuchio's theme, which also slaps. Here we go, I knew it. Kurosawa movies were the main inspiration for Star Wars. Like, even the word Jedi comes from the word Jidaigeki, meaning Japanese period piece, you know, the samurai films. Act 2, we get the flag. So this one guy I mentioned, he's like the comic relief of the movie. He is like, hey guys, it's a rainy day, and so I decided to make this flag to represent us and what we're doing, and we can like ride into battle with our little flag. It's much bigger in real life. It's probably like 6 feet tall or something like that. So these 6 circles are us. The triangle is Kikuchio, and this character down here represents the farmers. This character means it means rice paddies. I wrote a series of essays on Seven Samurai, and I called it The Ultimate Analysis. They're all written in Comic Sans and with bullet points. Chapter 1, title. Chapter 2, ass. Chapter 3, that's a mighty big sword you got there. Chapter 4, the flag. Chapter 5, overcoming class, a story of triumphs and failures. Chapter 6, having fun with your horsey. Chapter 7, the art of intrusion. And Chapter 8, Kame and Kikuchio. During the final battle, Kikuchio breaks his sword and yeets it. Look at this. Look at this. And we're 25 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. Pray for my throat, guys. I hope I don't destroy my throat. So anyways, the flag, they make the flag. I really am slowly going insane. It really do be like that. I need to turn up the heater. I'm so cold. And they set up traps, and it's a good time. And then one day, I'm losing it, my dudes. I'm losing it. What are we even talking about? Okay. Anyways, so after I just lost a viewer. I'm sorry I'm like this, guys. I'm slowly going insane, and my voice is just dying. Then they spot a couple of spies from the bandits going to spy on them. Ah! So they kill the scouts, they find out where the bandits' hideout is, and they're like, whew, let's go to their hideout and we'll just burn it down. And as they're all running out, they're just like, yeah. And Kikuchio is just an absolute legend as he's doing this. He's just like hacking at them. He has no formal training. He's got this massive sword. And it's also funny that all the samurai, they carry their swords at their waists like normal people. But then we got my boy Kikuchio, who has this massive sword that's like as tall as he is, and he's just carrying it over his shoulder. Other samurai carry their swords. They have normal swords and carry them at their waists like normal human beings. And then we have Kikuchio. Look at that. And during this whole thing, Heihachi, the comic relief, he dies. Ugh! And then, right in the middle of the funeral, the bandits show up. All 40 bandits. So here we go. What we've been preparing for this entire time. This entire movie has been building up to this. Ah! My throat hurts so much. And it's only been 108 minutes. Calculator. 60 times 7. That's, oh my god, that's 420. 420 minutes. These bandits, they have guns. They have a total of 3 of them. That's a problem. It gives them an unfair advantage. Personally, I think this is like meant to be like an allegory for like, this might be a stretch, but I think it might be an allegory for like Hiroshima. Kaiuzo, the Chad of the group, he's like, I'm going to sneak in there while they're sleeping and steal one of the muskets. And they're like, oh, no. And he's like, yeah. And he succeeded. He killed a couple of the bandits and he successfully got one of the muskets. Katsushiro is like, oh god, this guy is the coolest guy ever. And Kikuchi is like, whatever. And Kikuchi starts to get jealous. I think he's defending the south part. He's like, I know I'm supposed to defend this part, but I'm gonna put this one random old man in charge of my spot while I'm gonna go off and try to steal a musket for myself. I'll show them. They all think Kaiuzo's so cool. Well, maybe if I steal a musket, then they'll think that I'm cool. Because he's so desperate to prove himself. And he does successfully steal a musket. And he kills a couple of the bandits in the process, and it's like, wow, good for you. But he left the south part undefended. It was attacked, and that old man he put in charge, he dies. And it's just a hot mess. And one of the other samurai does too, Gorobi. We lost a lot of like good people there. Somebody just asked how old I am. I'm 20. We lost one of our good farmer guys. We lost a couple farmers, and we lost one of the samurai. Out of our 7 samurai, we've already lost 2. And Kikuchi is like, oh my god, this is all my fault. So then we get to the final battle. Okay, so fun fact. This movie went way over schedule in terms of filming. So the final battle, which takes place in the rain, and they were supposed to film that in the summer. But since they were way over schedule, it was February when they were filming that. The coldest month of the year, and so it's freezing cold out there. They're being like showered with rain. Poor Toshiro Mifune, who plays Kikuchio, he's literally wearing nothing but a breastplate and like a loincloth, and that's it. He nearly froze to death out there filming that, and he's like sloshing around, like the village is getting flooded. He like sloshing around this freezing rain in the freezing cold. And he's like barely wearing anything. He's just got like, his bare ass is exposed, okay? And it's epic. They're killing everyone off and it looks like we're gonna win. But then they're like, oh shoot, we forgot there was still one more musket out there. And it turns out the leader of the bandits, out of nowhere, he kills Kaiuzo, the Chad. So we just lost Kaiuzo, and Katsushiro's like, no! He's so upset. And Kikuchio is like, who? Kikuchio just charges in there. He's like, oh no, you didn't. And they're all like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. But he goes in there anyway. He charges this dude and he gets shot. He gets shot in the gut, but he keeps on going. He keeps on going. It's really epic. It's really badass. He goes in there and he single-handedly kills the leader of the bandits all by himself. Kikuchio, the underdog of the story, literally just a homeless guy who found a sword and just decided to call himself a samurai. He kills the final baddie, the leader of the bandits, but in the process, he dies himself, and he dies, of course, with his bare ass exposed. It's pretty epic. I remember reading this interview with Toshiro Mifune, and he's like, I get a lot of fan mail from people abroad saying that they like that I died with my bare ass exposed. Those top 4 are the samurai graves. Kikuchio got buried. He got given a samurai's funeral, a samurai's death. It's also interesting that they literally position themselves above everyone else. It's kind of like how on the flag, they literally put themselves on top because they see themselves as on top. It's been 2 hours, so that means it's time to switch wigs and talk about something else. Also, I really need to pee, but at this point, nobody else is at home, so I'm not really sure what to do. Izzy, entertain them. Izzy, sit. Good girl. Stay. Izzy, you were supposed to be entertaining the people. Izzy. Over the course of the movie, Kikuchio, as the movie goes on, he just wears less and less clothing until by the final battle, he's just going in there with his bare ass exposed. That's a Chad move if ever I've seen one. There's one scene that really stands out to me where the other 6 proper samurai. They're all having this nice little picnic on a cliffside. Meanwhile, Kikuchi is down there in the water in his thong, fishing for fish with his bare hands. He looks like Gollum in his little thong. It's incredible. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I am running on like no sleep. I do feel the insanity kicking in. And this wig is very itchy. I should have chosen a less itchy wig.